I'm Kimberly Prather. The ACU Wildcats' first ever game in the Cotton Bowl was one to remember. A wet and wild overtime thriller keeps ACU unbeaten in 2009.
And I'm Grant Boone. I think Drew Cuffey ran halfway to Abilene. We'll look back at one of the greatest plays in ACU history and preview tonight's game at Shotwell Stadium. It's the Chris Thomsen Show next. In ACU's first game ever at the Cotton Bowl, Drew Cuffey writes a little history of his own. An 81-yard interception return, a cotton-pickin' victory at the Cotton Bowl as ACU remains undefeated, 3-0 on the season after that 20-14 overtime victory over Texas A&M Commerce 1 week ago. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Chris Thomsen Show. Grant Boone along with Kimberly Prather and the ACU head football coach, Chris Thomsen. Coach, we've seen a lot of exciting moments in the history of ACU football, and you've been a part of a lot of those. But can you think of one offhand that was more dramatic than that one?
Well, I don't think there's any that were more dramatic. That was just an exceptional play by Drew Cuffey, and you know, pressure on the play from Bryson Lewis, and then Drew gets the great escort down the sideline. Just a phenomenal team effort by our defense and just our team overall, and it was an exciting win.
It was a great win, but it seemed like the first half we were scoreless, and then the second half, and then we go into overtime with that great play. What did you tell your team during halftime to get them ready for the second half?
Well, we just, you know, tell them what we always tell them. You got to play the next play. You can't worry about the score. You can't worry about the elements. You can't worry about what's going on in the game. You just have to keep playing, and they did a great job with that. They stayed focused. We faced some pretty strong adversity in that ball game, and I was really proud that they were able to just bounce back and continue to come back. And then Drew finishes it with one of the best plays in ACU football history. It was awesome.
Well, and it wasn't just that you had a very game opponent in Texas A&M Commerce, which I think by season's end will probably be among the best defenses in the conference. But you had the elements, you had the Cotton Bowl. Take us back to last Saturday night, just the entire scene there at the Cotton Bowl.
Well, just waking up Saturday morning and it's just a downpour. You look out your hotel window and it just rains all day long. And really the most amazing thing was the surface at the Cotton Bowl. They play the World Cup soccer there. They play Texas versus OU, and the field can drain any amount of water that you want to put on it. There's no dirt in the field. It's just it's a great surface, a great track. So you get there and the field is great, but it's still the elements, just the rain's pouring down. It was just it wasn't an ideal afternoon for football, but it was a great day, and I was proud of our team for just fighting through all that and coming out with a win. And
it was the son of a former East Texas State / Texas A&M Commerce basketball player and a former East Texas State homecoming queen that did in his parents' alma mater. When we come back, Coach Thomsen and I will look at the highlights from that dramatic 20-14 overtime victory, ACU over Texas A&M Commerce. You're watching The Chris Thomsen Show.
Mrs. Johnson, good to see you again. This is Mike. You can trust him. He looks just like you.
I'll be sucking up to you in order to make you sign the loan.
So, here are your low monthly payments and interest rate as we promised. Here's where they triple. The rest of this is really just here so that we get your house when you can't pay us back.
Such a lovely house.
Predatory lenders are never this easy to spot. Call us and protect yourself with the facts.
Starting under $7,000, the ST Sport 2+2 is one of our most versatile and popular models. Whether you use your cart to run around your neighborhood, at the lake, hunting, sporting place, this 4-passenger cart will make your life easier.
Why do they call it a funny bone?
Why can't penguins fly?
Like a sea safety. Can we go to the moon on vacation?
If you think it's tough answering these questions, imagine the ones you'll get if your child is diagnosed with cancer. CureSearch.org can help. It's run by doctors and scientists whose research has led to an overall cure rate of 78%. You're not as alone as you feel.
Listen up, energy hogs! Get in there and waste some energy!
There's no insulation, boss! It's hog heaven!
Time to tan.
Keep wasting! They'll never know what hit them!
What the?
Boss, they're home! And they've got energy-efficient bulbs! Ah!
You've got the power to get rid of energy hogs. You can add insulation and lots of other things. Get the tips you need at energyhog.org and play fun games, too. Get the energy hogs out of your home.
Hey, wait for me!
Welcome back to the Chris Thomsen Show. Coach, before we take a look at the highlights from last Saturday night at the Cotton Bowl, let's talk about those elements that you referenced earlier. Did the heavy rains before and during the game affect your game plan at all?
Well, I think they affect your plan a little bit. You might not throw the ball quite as much, you know, in that type of weather. But I think we pretty much went with our normal plan that we would typically go with. I don't think it was a big deal, and it affected both teams a little bit.
Let's take a look at the highlights. ACU and Texas A&M Commerce from the Cotton Bowl. And, Coach, turnovers really short-circuiting some first-half drives here for your team.
Yeah, we got some things going on offense. Big Willie Green there, the big D tackle for Commerce, picking off a screen. And then Justin Johnson, our running back, we're at the tail end of a drive here and just don't protect the football.
Both turnovers happening on Commerce's side of the field, but then your team has a huge turnover of its own. Drew Cuffey, after getting beaten on a pattern, comes back and forces a big fumble.
Yeah, big hit by Tony Harp coming over, great hustle play, and Courtney Lane scooping that ball up.
0-0 at halftime, and then in the third quarter, Zach Stewart keeps it himself and rumbles better than 30 yards on this keeper.
Yeah, we thought quarterback runs may be pretty good, and although our quarterbacks aren't great athletes, they're able to get it done. Zach took it down inside the 5 there.
You know Zach's going to be watching this. He heard you say that.
Good.
All right. Well, you give it to one of your big athletes here, Daryl Richardson, and he finishes off ACU's first touchdown drive of the night, hitting pay dirt from 5 yards out.
Yeah, Daryl did a nice job. There wasn't much inside right there, and he just decided to bounce it out, use his speed to get to the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, what has Daryl Richardson meant to your team here in the first couple of games?
Well, last week, you know, he really stepped up. I mean, he kind of a wet track. He almost 100 yards rushing, did a good job taking care of the football, and gave us some tough runs inside and helped us finish the ball game.
So Daryl makes it 7-0 ACU, and the Cats back in their own side of the field. Really the most important thing here is protect the football, but Corey Whitfield, the leading tackler in the Lone Star Conference, picks one off and takes it to the house for Commerce.
Yeah, Zach just trying to throw an in cut there and didn't see the linebacker, and the linebacker picked it and made a great play.
But then Zach comes back after throwing the interception to Whitfield, and with ACU needing a big play, it is Zach Stewart on 4th and 8. Hitting Edmund Gates with a big 12-yard completion. This was a big call by you and execution by Stewart and Gates.
Yeah, it's kind of that no man's land on the field where, you know, I felt like with the elements, the kicking game, you know, I wasn't sure if we could execute from that far out in the kicking game. So going for it on 4th down right there was the call I felt we needed to make, and came up in a good way. Clyde came up with a big play right there.
And Daryl Richardson would punch it in with his second touchdown of the night.
Again, just right off tackle. You see him making guys miss there and getting in the end zone. A couple of unblocked guys, and he makes a miss. Just a really, really good effort.
So now ACU leads it 14-7. You guys actually stopped Commerce, got the ball back. They forced a 3-and-out as you tried to keep it on the ground. And then Adam Farkas, who came in for Reed Hirschenbach at quarterback for Commerce, a big scramble here on 3rd down and 6. He picks up 11 as you guys are trying to finish off the game by keeping them out of the end zone defensively.
Yeah, great effort by their quarterback. You know, we lost contain on the play, and he was able to get outside the pocket and make a big first down.
And then with less than a minute to go, he hits Taylor Four in the end zone to tie the game with 32 seconds to play.
Well, it's kind of like on offense, inability to finish, you know, there at the end, which we had been able to do against Northwest Missouri. So a little bit disappointing right there. We were lined up a little bit wrong, but those are things we got to get cleaned up to be able to finish teams off.
And you guys decide to run the clock out, send it to overtime. You win the toss and you choose to go on defense.
Yeah, we wanted to put our defense out there. You know, traditionally that's what you want to do, to see what you got to do to win the game, and Drew made it real easy for us.
Yeah, on the very first play of overtime, Drew Cuffey made that a brilliant call with one of the great plays that you will ever see. Again, we don't have video of some of the plays that happened back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s in those eras, but what a play by Drew Cuffey. And there are a number of amazing things that happen on this play. First of all, just to defend and deflect the pass, but then to trap it on his hip, to stay in bounds, and then he picks up a couple of big blocks.
Well, when we recruited Drew, we recruited him partly because he had really good ball skills. He was a receiver in high school, and that really showed up right there. But then just a great team effort. Bryson Lewis has made one of the more intelligent plays you'll ever see, and had a chance to block a guy in the back and pulled up and then kind of circled around him and got a huge block that got Drew in the end zone. And
then the conquering hero making his way up the tunnel, talking about that game-saving, game-ending play.
I just saw the ball in the air, man. Playing man coverage. I tipped the ball in the air. It happened to fall into my one hand, and my guys made a great job blocking and got it to the house. So. All right, man. Congratulations. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Drew Cuffey, a chance to put his name in the Cotton Bowl history book with that amazing play. Coach, you think of the great players and the great plays in the history of the Cotton Bowl, and Drew Cuffey had one of the best right there.
Yeah, of all the games that have been played there, that would have to rank up as one of the top plays ever.
20-14, an overtime victory over a North Division opponent, Texas A&M Commerce. It is a league win. You never take those for granted. As you look back, and you've had a chance to see the film now, what do you take out of that 6-point overtime victory over the Lions?
Well, just we played really physical. I mean, it was both sides of the ball. Offensive line was physical. Even our receivers blocked physical. Our defense was very physical and played very fast, and they did too. It was just a shootout. I mean, it was a tough, hard-fought game, and I've been telling our team ever since we started training camp that the Lone Star Conference this year is going to be like that. It's going to be tough every week, and this game lived up to that billing.
For the first time all season, you start a quarterback and you ride him for the entire game. Zach Stewart played the entire game. His numbers, 18 of 33 for 184 yards and a couple of picks. Maybe they're not dazzling. Talk maybe about Zach Stewart's performance, given all the things that were going on surrounding that game.
Well, when you consider the elements, you consider all the things that are involved. Like you said, I think he had a pretty good performance, somewhat inconsistent, and the biggest thing is the turnovers, and he knows he's got to, correct that. You can't win close games. You can't win any ball games if you turn it over more times than the other team. So I think there's a lot of positives there to build on, and I'm excited about what Zach will continue to do as the season progresses.
And on the other side of the ball, another stout defensive effort by Jason John's team.
Yeah, our defense stepped up and really stopped the run game. That was the most impressive part, and I think they were 35 yards in rushing, and just really did a great job all night, and came up big at the end again.
Well, also coming up big, and maybe surprisingly so, the fans. How many fans were there? Thousands of AC fans in purple braving the elements. And Chandler Harris takes a look and gives us some of the sights and sounds of that memorable night at the Cotton Bowl. And Drew Cuffey sent all of those ACU fans in purple and white home happy. When we return, Tanner Knaut has the hero in our JMC Network studios. You're watching The Chris Thomsen Show.
Don't walk. Don't walk. Walk. Do not enter. Hot dogs. Definitely like hot dogs. Motorcycle club. Everything must go. Ghostly ghouls. Don't look at that, Teddy. Body piercing. Ouch.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
Hey, Zachary.
Ready?
Yes. You looking good?
The odds of a child becoming a professional athlete are 1 in 16,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 166. The odds say it's time to listen. To learn the signs of autism, visit autismspeaks.org.
Stop by West Texas Golf Cars to test drive the AC-powered RX-V. You'll be impressed with all the new technologies, and you can also sign up to win one for free. Come visit West Texas Golf Cars, not just for golf anymore.
Welcome to the Chris Thomsen Show. My name's Tanner Knaut, and today I'm in the JMC studio with junior cornerback Drew Cuffey, who had an amazing interception and a return for a touchdown to win the game for the Wildcats. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at this highlight here and just kind of take us through what is going on in this play.
Right there, I got my hand on it, tipped it up a little bit, and I was able to pin it to my hip, like I said, and catch it with the one hand.
Mm-hmm. You made a really athletic play. It looked like you were right about to go out of bounds. I mean, talk about that. How did you stay in bounds right there?
I knew I was close because, obviously he threw it over towards the sideline, but I didn't know just how close I was. But I got some good blockers that led me into the end zone. And
then you get obviously mobbed by the team. Talk about that feeling, what that was like to know that you won the game on that interception.
It was a great feeling. Just knowing that I had the opportunity to make that play and help my teammates. Everybody was on top of me. It was just a great feeling, and I was happy to make that play.
All right, I want to thank Drew for coming in today, and right now we're going to send it back downstairs to Grant and Kim.
Well, thanks, Tanner and Drew Cuffey. You know, we've seen that play probably 100 times in the last week, Kimberly, and it never gets old.
You can't get enough of it because it seems like Drew Cuffey has done so much for the team. At the beginning of the season, we lost Alex Harbison to a wrist injury, and he was such a big defensive player last year, and we just got Craig Harris back. So what has Drew Cuffey meant to the team this season?
Well, Drew just brings a lot of veteran leadership. He started a lot of games for us last year, and he's just kind of a quiet leader back there in the secondary. He comes to work every day, works extremely hard and prepares himself. And, preparation meets opportunity. You get plays like that he made in the Cotton Bowl. That's what Drew does every week.
Well, Aston Whiteside is one of the reasons why the players in the defensive backfield get a chance to make plays. Big number 2 on that defensive line, wreaking havoc on opposing quarterbacks. He's part of a family affair on the ACU Wildcat football team, as we see this week in On the Grid.
Aston Whiteside, the preseason defensive player of the year in the Lone Star Conference.
When I first started playing Little League football, I think I was just playing to be playing. Like if it was a rainy game, I think I was just sliding in the mud. But as the years went on in high school, it's like either you play football or you're doing something that you don't have no business doing, and just football was just my way of life. From Vernon, just watching Bernard play, we traveled to all his games, and just watching him play was a big inspiration to me. And then coming to college, I don't think it was planned that we came to the same college, but now when we came, just seeing how his work ethic and see how he does on and off the field just inspired me a lot to be like him. And then him going to the league, I mean, I always wanted to, that was a dream of mine to go to the NFL, but just seeing him being able to do it, coming from where we from, just, yeah.
Ashton Whiteside, he's a phenomenal player, brings a lot to our program. He's what we call an impact player, and by saying that, I mean when he's on the field, plays are going to happen, not just doing his job, but exceptional plays. And the way he leads out there is he doesn't lead woohoo vocal. He's a leader by example, and that's both on the field and during practice. He gets the job done.
Coach Ashton Whiteside has made an impact for your team really from the very first game he ever played for you.
Yeah, getting pressure on the passer is so important defensively and so important for that secondary, and he's provided a lot of that over the last year and a half and done a great job for us.
The Wildcats will definitely need Ashton to provide a lot in the second Lone Star Conference game of the season. And when we come back, we'll preview that game against Southeastern Oklahoma State tonight. We'll take a look at the matchup and more when we come back with the Chris Thomsen Show.
Fruit. What a tasty treat. Fruits packed with potassium and other nutrients can help keep your heart pumping strong during the game, and they give you energy back so you can take on the next activity. Can your food do that? Run, throw, think, eat better. Find out more at smallstep.gov.
Your usual game been unusually rough? Abilene's premier sports medicine facility, Action Sports Medicine, will have you back in top form in no time with orthopedic surgeons, physical therapists, a chiropractor, and athletic trainers on staff, specially trained in the treatment of sports injury. Action has an open MRI and digital x-rays on site to make sure your diagnosis is fast and accurate. Action offers a free sports evaluation during the Saturday Sports Injury Clinic, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We are sports medicine, Action Sports Medicine.
West Texas Golf Cart, an authorized E-Z-GO dealer in Midland and Abilene, with over 30 models of golf, utility, hunting, multi-passenger, and industrial carts. Come visit West Texas Golf Carts, not just for golf anymore.
Let's take a look at Southeastern Oklahoma State. Savage Storm by the numbers, 2-1 overall, 1-1 in the Lone Star Conference. And Coach, you've had some pretty good tussles with the Savage Storm through the years.
Yeah, we really have. My first year here, they beat us, and then we went over there in 06 and beat them. And last couple of years, been fortunate enough to beat those guys. But they play hard. They're very physical. They're a very disciplined team, and it'll be a challenge Saturday.
Coach Ray Richards came into the league the same year that you did, 2005. They won a shootout last week against Eastern New Mexico, 49-47. You've had a chance to look at the film. They bring, I know, a really good running back. In fact, the guy leading the league in rushing, Balin Laurie.
Yeah, he played last year. Very explosive player, a guy that you have to worry about. And they've added a couple of running backs with him that are really good players. And, you know, the game last week, I think, was 120 plays. So we're hoping their defense is a little bit worn out. It was out in Portales. We hope they got back a little bit late. And hopefully we can get after them a little bit Saturday.
Yeah.
Now, Coach, the Wildcats, you have played 3 quarterbacks. Do you have any definite plans for who you're going to play tonight, and will you play all 3?
Yeah, we'll start Zach tonight and again, see how the flow of the game goes. There's a chance we could play one of those other guys or both, but we'll see how it transpires tonight.
Yeah, we talk so much about Zach and the fact that maybe the offense isn't performing like it has in years past, and yet the bottom line, he's 5-0 as a starter.
Yeah, he's 5-0 as a starter, and you know, really the big thing is just the supporting cast around him too. You know, the offensive line, the running backs, the receivers, they've all got to step up their game as well. And I think when they do that, I think Zach will go to another level, and I think we'll be fine. Do you want to try to get Gale or Harrell in, or would you be fine if Zach played the whole game again? Right now, the plan is just to go with Zach and see how that goes, and you know, we'll see how the flow of the game goes and see how he's performing.
Now let's talk about injuries before we wrap up here. Emery Dudensing is still yet to see any action in 2009. Oh, and I know Trey Simeon had his bell rung last week.
Yeah, Trey's been really, you know, wanting to get involved in the passing game. He's a really good run blocker, and you know, Coach, I really want to get involved in the passing game, so he got his opportunity, and the guy knocked him out, and so maybe he won't be so eager to get in the passing game, but he's fine. He'll be fine to go. He re-entered the game, and then Emery Dudensing, he traveled with us last week. We didn't put him in, didn't feel like he was quite ready, but he's practiced pretty well this week, and I think you'll see him some in the game on Saturday tonight.
And as we wrap things up, it is different when you are able to play at home because you can suit more guys up, right? That actually affects how you play the game.
It does. The Lone Star Conference has a rule that when you travel, you can only take 60 people and 60 players, but at home you're unlimited. So playing at home is an advantage in that way too. You get a few extra bodies for special teams and a few extra linemen, and it helps. You know, it helps your depth.
And 6 o'clock tonight kickoff. I know you're hoping for another big crowd to root your team on Parents Weekend here on campus.
Yeah, our crowd has been so good and so supportive. We feel like we've got one of the best, or maybe the best in the country at Division II. And you saw that last week at Commerce. Just a lot of people there. It should be great weather tonight, and we're looking forward to a great game.
All right, ACU against Southeastern Oklahoma State. The Savage Storm coming to town. The Wildcats 3-0 on the season and still number 2 in the NCAA top 25 in both national polls. In fact, number 2 in the nation. Kickoff at 6 p.m. 5:45 pregame show on Classic Country 1470 here in the Big Country. For Coach Chris Thomsen and Kimberly Prather, I'm Grant Boone. Thanks for watching the Chris Thomsen Show. We'll see you next week.